Hello, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the cancer is a metabolic disease regard to the Warburg effect, and we will also discuss about the Dr. Thomas in recently. But in the past time, the Warburg effect is a Nobel prized Warburg due to the physiology and the biochemistry. So let's understand about the from person. This is the person. So the Warburg effect we will understand first, and then we will understand what is the Dr. Thomas review and the point and their opinion. This is a high glucose diet will trigger the oncogenesis further and the tumorigenesis, the progression of the tumor, the cancerous. A UV radiation cause cancer. The one of the major influence to progress of cancer and other factors. So this is the insulin required for the GLUT1 channel to open to glucose move into the cell, and in this way the glucose will convert into the pyruvate to produce more ATP. But in the case of hypoxia, the low level of oxygen will trigger the vascular endothelial growth factor for angiogenesis, lead to metastasis stage 4, and the HIF 1 alpha will lead to GLUT channel open. The hypoxic inducible factor 1 alpha will lead to also increase the LDH, the lactate dehydrogenase enzyme, which that will lead to produce lactic acid to produce more ATP, and increase the ATP will inhibit the PGC1 alpha. In this way, the PGC1 alpha will inhibit the biogenesis of mitochondria, and the electron transport chain will damage due to the hypoxia will lead to increase the reactive oxygen species. That understanding is long, but for understanding short. Hypoxia, smoking, radiation, injury, genetic mutation, epigenetic mutation 10%, and 10% genetic mutation involved for the electron transport chain damage, even the mitochondria damage, the abiogenesis of the mitochondria, and in this way the biogenesis of the damaged mitochondria can be possible. Let's understand about the experiment by Dr. Thomas. This is the Dr. Thomas is the physiologist and biochemist. And in this way, here you can see the mitochondria, which that contain a normal cell, while the tumor cell contain mitochondria also. But in this way, the tumor cell, when you can remove, whenever the Dr. Thomas remove the nucleus and enter into the normal cell, in this way, the cell will not cause cancer and not progress in the form of tumor due to the nucleus effect is zero, while the mitochondrial effect is maximum. In this way, the mitochondria containing cytoplasm will cause the tumor formation. But remember that the mitochondria is a genetic. It is also a genetic mutation due to the mitochondria come from the mother in the form of egg when fertilized with the sperm. So the sperm not inject the mitochondria into the egg. This is a normal cell progression due to the tumor nucleus containing cell, but the normal nucleus containing tumor cytoplasm will lead to progress. In this way, the cytoplasm is the effect. Cytoplasm is responsible for the progression of cancer due to the containing of mitochondria. Mitochondria contain their own DNA. That is why the genetic mutation can be possible due to the mitochondria. In this way, the mother is responsible for the transmission of the oncogene in the form of mitochondria. Anyway, the glucose will convert into the pyruvate, and this glycolysis will lead to form also the biogenesis of the cell things, and the lactic acid will produce the 80% ATP from this, and glutamine, basically it is the discovery through Dr. Thomas, will lead to produce more ATP. This is the ancient anaerobic fermentation. This is the anaerobic fermentation is the ancient, and in this way during the hypoxic condition it will trigger. That is why the hypoxemia will lead to hypoxia, will lead to cause this ancient anaerobic fermentation to produce ATP, and in this way the damage the mitochondria, while this is the normal cell which that produce pyruvate, and this pyruvate through glycolysis to trigger the more ATP production through aerobically, and the oxygen will use and carbon dioxide produce. While in this way, the basically normoxia will lead to inhibit the HIF1 alpha and trigger, and also sometime during the starvation mode, it will lead to trigger the biogenesis. Here is the glucose will lead to glycolysis, and this glycolysis will lead to glucose 6 phosphate will convert into the nucleotide, protein and lipid synthesis. And in this way, for this lipid synthesis will lead to develop the cell, and the asparagine will lead to aspartate, and in this way the all things will lead to tumor cell growth and replication will occur due to this glycolysis only, not any other thing. So remember, so the enzyme will work more through our nucleus. So the in this way, remember that things. So basically the DNA also involved, but 10%, not more. So the pancreas contains beta cell when you will ketogenic diet contains 0 carb or 5%, and the protein 15% and fat 80%. In this the glucose level will drop, will lead to a buffer the insulin, and in this the fatty acid will increase omega 3 and 6 through a ketogenic diet will lead to trigger the ketogenesis from the liver. Alpha hydroxybutyrate, ketoacid, glyceraldehyde, and beta hydroxybutyrate. Alpha hydroxybutyrate is important ketones, and in this way, for example, this is a tumor cell. The free fatty acid and beta oxidation is impossible because the anaerobic condition, hypoxia. And in this way, whenever you will intake the ketogenic diet, the GLUT channel will not open due to the insulin buffering. And in this way, the hypoxia and starvation will lead to increase the AMPK pathway, will inhibit the mitophagy will occur. The damaged mitochondria will be mitophagy trigger through AMPK pathway and autophagy throughout the tumor cell. In this way, the tumorigenesis will be inhibition. While the intermittent fasting, according to the Dr. Thomas, the intermittent fasting is too much important, like keto and fatty acid is not useful for the tumor cell. In this way, the oxygen and carbon dioxide is important for the keto and fatty acid oxidation, so ATP production more, so the healthy cell will survive while the tumor cell will be autophagy, and the apoptosis will occur. ATP decline due to the intermittent fasting will activate the PGC1 alpha for the biogenesis of mitochondria, and AMPK will inhibit the mTOR pathway, which that is important for the progression of cancer, while the ATP will rise and the survival of the cell through biogenesis of mitochondria, and damaged cell autophagy will occur. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video.